This is the Kickin podcast where we talk all things women's rugby league.
And stories to inspire and entertain. Come kick it with us.
Welcome back to another episode of Kickin It. My name is Kiana Takairangi.
And I'm Corbin Baxter.
We are your hosts and we're excited today because we have a really special guest here in the studio with us. She told us she's just rolled straight out of bed, which we're really happy about. We've mentioned her name a couple of times so far on the potty, and she is keeping to the theme of the best team in the NRLW, another Cronulla Sharks teammate of mine.
You wish. Making her NRL debut for the Cronulla Sharks this year. Harata Butler, welcome.
Woo-hoo.
Hey, how you doing?
Cool, thank you. Thank you, ladies, for having me.
Thank you for coming in.
Yeah, I feel a bit shy. That's not normal. That is not normal.
No, we're so happy to have you here. So thank you for coming in today. We're going to find out a whole lot more about you shortly, but we're just going to quickly touch on some of the games that were on last weekend, which was some of our NRLW trials. What was the first one?
Yeah, first one was Thursday night, Parramatta versus Dragons.
Yep.
I thought it was a pretty good game, very even, pretty matched try for try. I thought Para went well. I know there's been a lot of talk about them losing a lot of players, but I think considering they went pretty well, I know Dragons have obviously lost all of their rep players that they had last season too, but what did you guys think about it?
Yeah, agreed. For two pretty much brand new teams, just about very evenly matched. I feel like there was some good contact in there. Like the first 20 was like big hits, which I loved. The nines going out a little bit in Ruben Charrington and Carla Cowan. I love that. That was funny.
Fiery combo.
Yes. What about you, Harata? Did you watch a little bit of it?
To be honest, that's probably the only game I did watch, and that's because one of the girls, Capri Paiko, this is her first year of first NRLW season as well with Para. We trekked out there straight after training.
That's right.
Didn't even have a shower, but that's all good. Nobody knew. Massive game, eh? I was so grateful we weren't playing on a Friday night.
It was cold, wasn't it?
It was freezing, but some huge contact out there. It was pretty awesome to see how the girls, I guess, they wind down the clock a bit with Elsie Albert.
Yes.
And it was cool to see Maddie Weatherall back
out, yes.
Just same boat, coming back after baby. So I think the front rowers out there done some pretty massive K's out on that field, but geez, it was fast, eh?
It was fast, hey?
I was sitting there like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be slowing it down tomorrow, man, because that was just too fast.
Well, that's the thing, because they actually played 3 20-minute thirds, and then we kind of thought we were doing the same going into our trial game on the Saturday, but then we had a proper game, 2 35-minute halves. So that was interesting, but I think I preferred what we did. Yeah,
especially, to get a proper gauge on what a game's going to be like.
Yeah, definitely.
And then also your players and stuff. Obviously, our coaches have the ideal starting 13, and then they probably need to see what the bench is going to look like, who can last, who can be impact, and all that stuff like that. So when Tony was like, "No, we're doing 2 halves," I was like, "You're the man, bro." Like, sure. Because I wasn't keen on these 20-20-20s.
Yeah.
And it's hard to find a rhythm. They play that format in the All-Stars because it's the time of year, it's hot, and they break it down into quarters, not thirds.
Yeah.
Which I find, I know it's a trial match, so it doesn't matter too much, but it is just a good opportunity to get used to how it's actually going to be round one, and let the momentum flow a bit more.
Yeah, absolutely, because it stops, doesn't it? It's like 20 minutes and then everyone gets a break instead of people starting to tire, the back's getting into the game, that sort of thing. So, I don't know. I'm glad we did a proper game.
Yeah, same.
So, Eels won that one 18-14. So
very close.
Really close one. Next one we had, it wasn't the next game, but one of the other games was Broncos and Knights.
Yeah.
You didn't watch that one?
No,
I only caught the second half because I was getting back from training, I believe.
What was it? They were on after I say.
Yeah. Actually, yes, I was getting back from watching you guys. You were earlier in the day, but what do you think of that one?
I think that Knights were missing a lot of their key players. So I think both the Southwell sisters were out. Yasmin Meeks, Tamika wasn't in there. Liv as well, Higgins. So they were missing. Play? I don't think she did, or did she?
No.
Nah,
I think so
both of them were
yeah.
out. So they're missing a lot of their key players, but they still did really well to go against the Bronx and finish with, because what was the scoreline?
18-4.
Yeah, so it wasn't too bad. I think Bronx were playing majority of, I
It
think
was
everyone.
pretty much their starting team.
Yeah.
Pretty much, maybe.
Just about everyone was
just
in
about. Yeah, so they did really well considering.
there. Yeah,
Good on the Knights.
a lot of players missing.
Yeah, cool. And then the last one, you guys up against the Tigers, Sharks v Tigers, 22-0. Kept them to the big 0. Obviously, good defence. I had training in the morning, so missed the first half, but sort of caught the second half. How are the bodies feeling this week?
Yeah, smacked up, man. I'm actually quite surprised. I came away with a few bruises, a couple of niggles.
Yep, love that for you.
A dislocated finger.
Really?
A cracked neck. I was like, wow.
Welcome back to footy.
Yeah, welcome back. All right. No, it was massive. It was a massive game. Definitely got gassed out there, eh? I think the excitement of just taking the field kind of got the best of me. Came out with a hiss and a roar and then just fizzled out, and I was just like, oh.
That's
Just,
okay.
yeah.
On that, my brother came down to watch, and I spoke with him after the game, and the first thing he said to me was, "Who's that Paliacina in the pink headgear?" And I was like, "Wait, what?" And he's like, "Who was that? The prop in the middle that plays like Paliacina." Do you know who that is?
No.
Okay, we're gonna have to show you some highlights. We might chuck up a little reel, but he used to play for the Warriors. I think he's played for a couple of teams actually, but he wore headgear. You would have seen him because he runs like an absolute lunatic. Yes, and that was you. That was you he was
Dead
talking
ringer.
about.
I think I'm not going to wear headgear now. No.
It
No,
wasn't
it's
the
a good
headgear, it
thing.
was the how hard you run.
Yeah, it was a compliment.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
We'll show you some highlights. But I thought you did really well out there. Was it good to be back out on the field and just, again, we've trained really hard for the last 6 weeks. Was it good to finally get a game?
Yeah, it was. I mean, to just get a taste of the pace. Obviously, earlier on this year, played Harvey Norman, but you could definitely tell or feel the change, or the next step up, I guess. But knowing that wasn't it, that's not the actual, but it was just a good taste, I guess, especially after I think haven't played for 2 months nearly.
Yeah.
So it was a good little burnout there. I don't know. It's just, everyone leading into the trial game was like, "Oh, are you excited?" And I'm like, "Nah, not really, eh?" Like, I don't know. It's not until you take the field, and then you start feeling it, and then it's just like, "Oh, cool. This is, the dream's coming to reality, and we're getting closer and closer now."
At least you're living on the Esplanade now. You can just wander down to the beach, bit of recovery in the ocean.
Oh, tell me about it. I've been down there like quite a bit, and I buzz out because it's winter, eh? Like back home, you wouldn't catch me by the water before 12 o'clock, before midday. So I'm surprising myself. But I mean, Cronulla, the weather's been putting it on here in Cronulla. So lapping it up, of course. I'm an inlander from back home. Staying out on the beach is like
Now you're in God's country.
Yeah.
Yes, in the Shire. So for anyone that doesn't know, like, where are you from back home? And you've obviously made the move over for the NRLW season this year. How's that going for you?
Yeah, back home, New Zealand. I'm from the mighty Waikato. I guess the best way to put it on the map is the Chiefs.
Yep.
If you know the Chiefs, then that's where I'm based, Hamilton, Kirikiriroa. So, we're inlander people, but then again, hour to each, coast, West Coast to East Coast. So we're nice, bang smack in the middle, living alongside the Waikato River. But yes, I made not so much, for NRLW, but also earlier on this year also came across and I guess tried to live a bit of FIFO, fly in, fly out for the Harvey Norman season, purely to, secure or try and attract a contract. And so I think, as hard as that was at the beginning of this year with, because there's not as much as the clubs at the beginning, Harvey Norman clubs. So, you know, big shout out to South Sydney Rabbitohs for the mahi that they put into, you know, get us over and, you know, accommodate us as best. But it was pretty tough considering, you know, we don't have that funding as you would once you're contracted in an NRLW team. But we made it work. It was an awesome season with the bunnies. It was different. Huge, you know, it was a different experience. That's all I'm going to say. And then, yeah, went home and I just, you know, grateful that was approached by the Sharks and a couple of other clubs during the Harvey Norman season. But if anything, I guess it was, the Sharks, the club, and Casey and Tony that really kind of sold the deal for me with making the choice. So, yeah, I don't even know if I answered the question or not.
No, you did.
But yeah, so far it's been good. It's been challenging. I don't know, like we was just talking earlier on about social media platforms and stuff. And if you know me, like I'm one of those ones on my Instagram story and it connects with my Facebook and you see the block, because I post a lot. And that's just a lot of whānau back home, especially in the Waikato. They admire us that are doing this. And so I try and share as much as I can with them, and it does, so like I try and share as much as the ups as there are downs, just to be real, and you know, it's like I always reflect on how, you know, how wealthy I am with the people around me, whether that's physically or virtually or, you know, near and afar. There's always someone checking in, and they're always, you know, just sharing like how proud they are of me, of a couple of our other Waikato girls for what we're doing, because our next gen back home are watching us, and it's making them want to, you know, hey, I want to be there, I want to go there. And then so I guess as challenging as it is, it is rewarding on the other end.
On those challenges, so you've got a little baby boy. He's not really a baby, he's your baby, in Helios. He spent the first probably 4 or 5 weeks with us. Without, like, around our pre-season. He was there every day, which was really nice. But you ended up making the tough decision of sending him back home. Talk us about that.
Oh, let's say 2023 has been a roller coaster of a year. You know, sometimes it is true. I think Tony said it the other week. Footy is the easy part. It's what happens outside of footy. So plans kind of changed leading into the NRLW pre-season, because initially I wasn't even going to bring my son, Helios. His name's Helios, by the way. He's 7 going on 21. And so, initially I wasn't actually going to bring him, but things changed at home, you know, home circumstances and stuff like that. So, you know, I said, come on, son, you know, we'll go over and we'll give it a go. And I think just the fact of having the relocation scheme through NRL and the club and stuff like that kind of took a lot of pressure off. And the club, Casey and them and Morgs, you know, willing to uffy and be of as much help and make it as easy as possible transitioning over with a child, a huge child. So it was kind of like, okay, son, look, we'll go over. And I told him, like, if you know Helios, like, I talked to him, like, I don't know if it's something that I got myself, but anyway, like, I talked to him like he's a little adult, so he knows everything, as much as his little ears need to know anyway. And I said, look, we'll go over and we'll just give it a go, son, go have a look at some schools, and if you know, if you don't like it or if you're not comfortable, then, you know, you can always come home to Nanny and Auntie. And he was just like, okay, like, I think he was just excited about, you know, you're going to drop me off at the airport, I'm going on a plane, and just, you know, the whole hype of going on a plane and going to Australia. So yeah, that was cool. He he'd been over here for the first 5 weeks of pre-season, and like, as Kiki, as you would know, like, he just, you know, brought him into he never missed the training.
Yeah.
He literally experienced a NRLW preseason calendar, right to the early Saturday morning wake-ups. And so he enjoyed it. He enjoyed being around the girls. Like you asked him what's your favourite team in footy, he doesn't know anything other than mum's team. But he did enjoy it. But I think he was enjoying it too much because there was no school. And so it was kind of like, but then when we did talk about schools and stuff like that, we did check a couple out in Cronulla. But I guess, you know, it was quite, I didn't realise as much until later on that the culture shock.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad I brought him over though, just to experience that. And it was a tough decision to send him home, but I think it was more so tough for me because being alone here.
Yeah.
I mean, he worried about that. He was just like, "Oh, Mum, but you know, you're going to be alone. Are you going to be all right?" And I'm just like, "Oh, you know, I'll be fine, son." Deep down, I'm like,
"Oh." He's only 7. How good is that he has that like for you? It's so nice.
Yeah. Sometimes I think, he's just I think that's that only child.
Yeah.
The only child, and they kind of go through everything with you. Yeah. And so they kind of can tell when you're up and you're down. And then like, you know, when they're away from you, they're like, oh, you know, they think about you as much as you think about them.
Yeah.
So yeah, just to try and reassure them, like, I'm going to be okay, son. Like, you know, Mummy's just got to do her mahi, get the job done. Oh my gosh.
Well, that's cool. And it's so cool that you've had this experience and to be able to bring Helios over and give him that experience. Like, not many young kids are getting something like that. So you should be really proud of, you know, making these memories and having these memories with him. Obviously, him going back, I know it would be tough. I can relate, especially that only child sort of feeling of, you know, I get that with Carter. I know that he, sometimes if I ask him to make a decision or like try to make a decision for him, and he just has a lot of feelings around how I'm feeling. So I can relate to that as well. But you played, let's just go back to footy a little bit. You played in the nines with the NRLW, with the Warriors, back in, was that 2020, right before COVID?
Yeah.
So how come have you been playing rugby league growing up? How come it's taken you so long to give this a crack and do something like this?
Back home, there wasn't that much rugby league in terms for girls, obviously. So I think in high school was rugby. That's as far. But I went to school at Te Wharekura o Rākau Mangamanga, so in Marahui Pōkeka, Huntly. The heart of Waikato, as they would say, 828.
Represent.
Yeah.
We've been there. We've seen it with All Stars, so we've been there. That's cool.
Yeah. So we've. Yes, that's right. Yes, Wahi Pa. Yes.
Yes.
So Huntly, a very rugby league driven community and home. It's the home of the Taniwharo Club. So I guess going to school and just seeing how rich the footy culture was there around the club and stuff like that. Their thing is like, you know, it's more than a game, it's a way of living. And so just being amongst that just made you want to play, you know. The only time we could ever really have a jam was at school, and that was playing held with the boys, if you were allowed to. Or playing rugby was as close as it was, you know, to get onto a league field, let's say. So had to play rugby, never liked it, but it's okay, you know, grateful for the contact sport back then. I actually moved over here in 2013, not too long out of school. So yeah, 10 years ago, moved over here, and this is where I first played rugby league. And it was for the Canleyvale Dragons, Canleyvale Heights, I think, Dragons. Yeah, their junior club, I think they called it, or still call it. Played for the women's, and little to be known, it was literally a Maori team.
Really?
Predominantly Maori, and a few of our Pacific Islander sisters were in there too. So played alongside like Lecky, Alexis, or Alex. Yeah.
Maybe not. Before I started.
Yeah, she's more union. She was more union, and then she played a bit of both.
Yeah. So I played alongside Lecky, Mima. She was the Alia Walton. Yeah, Taina Clark. Who else?
Some of the OGs.
Yeah, the OGs. Yeah. So, like I've been buzzing out, and I've been telling a lot of the girls since I've been here. Hey, I was here 10 years ago, and the game has changed massively.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was my first taste into actual rugby league, playing for a women's team. Was here in Sydney with the good old Dragons. And back then it was just the Sydney comp, I think. And I'm sure we only had about 5 teams maybe in the comp. Yeah. And as you were saying, rugby predominant, like that was still like, the main sport back then. So you had a lot of us playing league and playing rugby back then. Ended up played for the Dragons, Kellyville Dragons for league, and then played for Rockdale Rangers for rugby. So it would be like Friday night league, Saturday rugby, or play league in the morning and then rugby in the afternoon. Like that's how it was back then.
Could you imagine doing that now?
Yeah, nah. Way not.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where it all started back in 2013. And like I was saying, it was little to be known, like little that I would know that it was all Maori who we all just gravitated towards each other. We were coached by Butch Barber and his wife Putzi. So like they kept it quite whānau orientated, so it was kind of like you never left home. I remember, after our first grand final, and we won, thankfully. Not thankfully, we won quite convincingly. Had the meanest bender, eh?
Tell us about it.
I was like, yes, like seriously. I think it was Saturday, then we went back to our coaches. And I literally didn't leave that house until Tuesday afternoon. Like you didn't have to go anywhere. Like there was food, there was beds, there was alcohol.
Yeah.
It was just going. There's people coming and going. I literally don't remember leaving that house at all until Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday night. Stayed with them for 2 years. And then second year, 2014, that's where I made New South Wales. That's when it wasn't called State of Origin.
Interstate Challenge.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Awesome.
Back,
2014, did you say?
Yeah, I didn't actually mention it, but I started out on the wing, eh?
Oh, how good.
The flying winger.
Yes.
What a crack up. I started on the wing, and then the second year, 2014, ended up in the centres, played centre in New South Wales Interstate Challenge. And that was also the year that I played club alongside Vanessa Foliaki.
Oh, cool.
So, coming into Shark, she was like, bro, look, we started to, and I was
that's
like,
crazy.
now, nearly 10 years later, and we're back together again. I'm like, hard out, we like, this is like massive as.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty big year for me, 2014, because club, we won again, back-to-back titles. Also took out the rugby competition that year as well. Made New South Wales, made the wider squad for Jillaroos, but was, went up to the camp. And I don't know, this Maori girl just, wasn't too clever back then. But I went alongside... who was it? Yeah, because I was even played. That was when I played alongside Rue actually. So it's quite crack up. Yeah. Oh
I didn't
wow.
know this is great.
And now Rue's coaching.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. I think Rue was playing. Yeah. And then we also made wider squad with Rue that year. Mimes, Ness, Kezi, Sammy, Maddie. So we went up there, and this Maori girl back then was like, bro, this isn't my country. Like, I'm not going to be a Jillaroo, but I'm going to go for the free trip and gears. And the experience. So I was undercooked, like I was underdone, like going into such a huge, like, I didn't know it was going to be as like intense as it was, and I really got myself. But thank you to my coach, who was it back then? Matthew Head, I think he was our New South Wales coach. He pushed us through, and I appreciate the experience, mate. But I was totally underdone, and went up to Coffs Harbour, I think it was, and that's where experienced that kind of first little bit of professional footy back then, because it wasn't nowhere near what it is now. So yeah, that was a massive experience. Obviously didn't make the Jillaroos, and I wasn't too cut about it, but it was an experience. And then not too long after that, the year kind of finished off. 2015 came around and I got stung by the bee and pregnant.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Yeah, so I got pregnant in 2015.
Not the old bee.
Yeah. Not the bee sting. Just stood on a bee and boom. No. Became pregnant in 2015, and then that's where I kind of fizzled off a bit. Yeah. Put footy on the side for a little, well, not so much, but yeah, that's where it kind of slowed down. And that whole year, during my pregnancy term, I could see the game growing, and I was filthy. I was like, what? Like the year I decided to have a baby, it's like you can see everything. Like Jillaroos was amping up. New South Wales was starting to, there was more they were putting more money into it and things like that. And then it was awesome to watch. But back then, FOMO, hard out, FOMO. And then, so I had my son in 2015, at the end of 2015, moved back home. I thought I was going to be a big girl and, bring my son up here. He was born in Bankstown Hospital. True. Yeah, so he's born in Australia, but he's a Maori. He's a New Zealander. He's a Kiwi. And then, I thought I was going to be a big girl and bring him up here. But 2 weeks after he was born, Mum, Dad, I'm coming. And then the following year, 2016, I ended up I joined Papakura Sea Eagles Rugby League Club up in South Auckland there. Didn't know anybody. I just wanted to keep playing footy. And then again, little did I know, it was a breeding ground for kiwi ferns. At Papakura there with the sisters, the likes of Hani Hireme come through Papakura, Laura Mariu, Serena Clark, Rona Peters, Hilda Peters, so it was like a breeding ground, Papakura. And I didn't know any of this. I was oblivious to it all. My first rugby league taste was here in Australia, because back home there, when you're from Waikato and there's Auckland, back then there was a big gap. We didn't really, mingle much or go up there to look for sport. So, jumped into that club, jumped in and joined that whānau, and that was huge. Awesome, strong footy culture there, whānau orientated again, and I think that's what drew me a lot to rugby league. Was every team that I went to was quite family orientated or whānau orientated and had a strong footy culture. And then, went on to, I don't know, I was just quite lucky, the league teams that I picked, because went on and we won the Auckland competition back then, which was the Farrelly Women's Auckland Rugby League Farrelly competition or something like that. So just kind of done that there, 2017, kind of fizzled out a bit, went into work, went back to work when my son was, got back into work when my son was 10 months. So then footy was on the back burner, things like that, focused just on family and work. And then I think it wasn't until 2018, I think I played my second or third tuakana tournament, Maori tuakana tournament, and then was picked up for the, what's it called? The tournament team that gets picked from there, the tournament team. And then that led on to All Stars. So that was kind of the door back into footy seriously, I guess, on a serious basis. I'm a huge advocate for New Zealand Māori Rugby League, or Aotearoa New Zealand Māori Rugby League, and the pathways that they're creating, because it's played a huge part of my journey back into footy. 2019 was when I came, was All Stars. That was All Stars. It kind of gave me getting a taste of All Stars at the beginning of 2019 was like, I want more, so it was kind of like, okay, well, come on, sis, we got to drop a few kgs, we got to get fitter, you know, we got to do all this. And if it wasn't for that experience, then I don't think I would have, you know, that spark would have came back again. 2019, put in the hard yards, had another good year of footy back home in the Auckland Rugby League comp, because we won the comp again. Papakura Seagull sisters, shout out. Counties Manukau was a part of the 10-year streak there. So, you know, these are clubs and provinces that have played a huge part of my journey so far. And then, 2020 was when I played alongside you lovelies for the All-Stars. Where did we go? So this is we're coming back to the NRL 9s, Warriors. Yeah, so grateful to Hans, gave me that opportunity to play for the Warriors in the NRL 9s over in Perth. That was a bit of a trick from home, hey.
That was so hot, that comp too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like breathing in a heater, hey? Like you're just in the car and the heater's on and you're just I was like, oh, that was crazy. But that's where you also, like, you know, you nearly took my draw out, Corbs.
Me?
Yeah.
Tell me, I don't remember this.
I don't know if you might have been fullback or...
Yeah?
We were the first game and then I went to go score the try and like, you know, like...
Oh, did I have a lazy arm coming through?
No, you're like, I give it off to you because you're tiny and then there's this big ass thing running to you and at least you didn't sack it, eh? Like you did not sack it. You were like, nah, she's not.
And you scored on me.
Yeah.
Did
I
you jump
scored,
in your
but
head?
you
Jam
gave
it.
me
What
a good one though. I was
Sorry,
like, whack. I was like, ooh.
Sorry, mate.
Oh, and then I was thinking, I was like, I'm sure she's got to be my teammate.
How rude.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for running at me.
Yeah, no. Well, thank you for not sacking it.
Funny story, that game, that's when you guys didn't have your footy shorts, anything, socks, and what did you have to do?
We had to wear the boys' gear. Far out.
Right after they played in Perth, it was sweaty and hot and you had to put on their dirty clothes.
Oh, mate, that was like...
Humbles, but you
Yeah,
guys
didn't even want to
us.
look at who was the coach because... Oh, what's his name? His face, eh? Just said it all. He was filthy as with the management, and I was just like, oh well. But all I remember in the back rooms, they're like, chuck the shirt, and then I was like, whose is this? Like, trying to squeeze into those little ass bloody. That was a pretty a hard stint to do because it was NRL 9s. And then I literally flew home for like one night because that was the first week I had ever been away from my son, like out of the country, like literally away from him. So there was the option to fly from Perth straight over to GC for the All-Stars, or you could come home. And then I said, I'm going to go home. So literally, like, you know, done a good however long 4 or 5 hour flight back to New Zealand just to spend 12 hours with my son and then get back on the plane and then come over to GC and do the All-Stars campaign. And so that was that year. And I think it was, who else was with you? You, Corbs, Kiki, Racine?
Yeah, Maddie Weatherall.
Oh,
Yep,
Maddie, yes.
And
Bobo?
yeah,
Oh, yeah, Bobo, yeah. Because you said come back home, eh?
Yes.
Did we come home first?
Yeah, you came home for a
straight
little
there.
while, for a weekend, before All-Stars.
Oh, sorry, home. Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
where you're saying
At the
come back
weekend.
and
Yep.
stayed at Wahipa. Yeah, how was that?
That was fun.
It was so fun. I was so nervous, but it was good. I just thought I was going to, just going into it so, not in touch with my roots.
Yeah.
Really nervous about just being just not with it. But everyone was really welcoming and it was just a really cool week, learning the haka, sleeping on the Madai.
Yeah.
Having boil up for
Yeah.
our
Oh,
dinner.
don't bring me up
that was
about-
so
oh.
good.
Wait, with the boil up, I remember you came at me.
Yeah,
for the
what was
way
I
I ate my.
How did you eat it?
My pork bone.
Oh.
Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. I was just about to say, I remember it was one of you, and we had put up and then it's finished, and then I looked at your plate and I was just like,
She didn't finish it properly.
no, I was like, there's still meat on those bones, Kiki.
You've got to suck it all out.
Yeah.
And you did that for me. I remember. I was like, "You want it?"
Because I don't like wasting kai, like, I'm like, and hence the reason why Big Girl, like, give it a man, like, you know.
That's so funny.
That was crack up.
I do remember that. Poor me.
And then, Gold Coast was we didn't come away with the win, but it was still an awesome week.
We won the party after.
We did.
Say that again. Oh my gosh, say that again.
You had to go to Movie World.
Yeah, it was my son's birthday the next day, and I was so hung. And I
don't think we stopped drinking till like 4, or like it was early hours in the morning.
Didn't. It was all bad.
Rough.
And then on the Superman ride, on the Joker ride.
Oh,
Not
man.
well.
Yeah, not a good combo. But yeah, such a good week. Like, besides the outcome, I just remember that was like a really weird game.
Yeah.
We did the F45 session like the day before. It was it was a bit of a stitch up, but a cool experience nonetheless.
No, there was a massive campaign as well. But like I said, like, you know, since that first taste of All Stars, like, and just the mahi through Maori Rugby League and stuff coming to fruition through All Stars was massive. And like that year, because I'm not going to chuck any shade, but I remember 2019 coming from the first All Stars. There was NRLW kicked off in general in 2018. So, and back then we still had the Warriors.
Yeah.
So after All Stars in 2019, I was like, okay, look, I want to make the Warriors, like, you know, because I want to play NRLW. So, you know, I worked my ass off thinking, okay, like, look, I'm putting myself in a good position. Hopefully I can get contracted and, you know, keep this footy going. Didn't, you know, like, went to the camps and stuff, wider squad, didn't make the contracts for Warriors. And in all honesty, I was gutted and filthy.
I bet.
Like, I was just like, okay, didn't really make sense having, back then. But, like, you know, I think that's just as an individual, you're like, okay, you had a good year in club footy and rep footy. You know, you would kind of think it would lead to, you know, you just keep going. So that kind of, like, you know, made me feel like, okay, you know, you can go suck on a, you know, and beep. You can go have a beep. But yeah, that kind of made me feel like that. And so 2020, I was just like, I remember my goals back then was to get approached by NRLW clubs other than the Warriors. And like, that was what I was set out for. And after our All-Stars game that Saturday, I remember, like you were saying, no sleep, team, no sleep, you know, just coming off the massive high of the copa before that week and celebrating after the game, win or lose, you know. Got to the airport, hung as, and then, you know, got approached by a Roosters scout, you know, and I was just like, you know, cool. Like, you know, and then I later on got a phone call from the Dragons. And if anything for me, like, that was like, I ticked off my goal was to get approached by NRLW clubs other than the Warriors. And I wanted to, you know, like, follow through with a club just to, like, you know, shove it in their face, like, you know.
Could have had me.
Yeah. But then COVID hit.
All right.
Yeah, COVID hit and it just shut it all down. So it was literally on the verge of coming over in 2020 or, you know, making a decision between a club and then coming over to play. But then, yeah, COVID just came and just said, not this year, Harata.
Yeah. So really, you should have been a Rooster back then and still now.
Or a dragon.
You know who you were going to be.
Yeah, could have. Definitely could have. But yeah, COVID really done a good one.
Yeah.
There was the Warriors though, and I think that was the last resort. So jumped on board with them. But that's when they, I remember I think it was, they had to make a decision. And so they told us, like, literally gave us a couple of days to give them a decision on whether you wanted to commit to the Warriors, as you will be relocated, you'd go through isolation, and there was just a lot of unknowns.
Yeah.
And I was just like, how do you make this decision in the span of like 2 days?
Yeah.
And you're not even sure if you're going to be able to take your son, or, you know, you're not even sure if you're going to be able to come back, isolation, all that stuff. Like nothing was certain. Countries were going into lockdown.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I just said, yeah, no, like I can't commit to that. And so I give it off to the 6, I think there were 6 girls that did commit to it from back home. And they, you know, came over and did the Warriors stint. And that's when they relocated them up Queensland somewhere, I think.
Yeah,
was it?
is that when Brad Donald coached them?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. And there was, who played? That's when Tassie played.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, she played. Did she play for the Warriors?
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that year. That was, Tassie, and then like Maddie Bartlett was one of the Kira girls.
Yeah.
There was a few. Kira Dibb played for them.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So that was that year. And COVID just really done a solid one. And then that kind of just, the game back home just really dropped, like as soon as COVID came in and took that away, because then the following year there was no Warriors. The following year we were told for All Stars that due to COVID reasons, I'm just going to say due to COVID, but I believe there was other behind the scenes things going on, and then we got COVID shoved in our face for the next 2 years for Warriors, for All Stars. That's why we weren't getting amongst any of that footy. And so like 2020, 2021, 22 kind of just went down. And anybody back home, like you could tell that the level of footy back home has really dropped. The standard of footy. And this is like, no, I'm not taking no digs or like, saying that I'm any better. But just, because of COVID, it did push a lot of our girls to jump across. And so, as the years went by, these last 3 years, we just continuously, lost skill, woman by woman, to the Aussie, to whether it was up in Queensland or here in New South Wales. And then so the experience back home was kind of getting thin. The standard of footy was a bit dropping. Just, the pace, the fitness, the skill level and things like that. So, come to this year, it was kind of like at the end of last year was a no-brainer. It was kind of like, okay,
make the move too.
if you want to get a crack, I was like telling myself, sis, you're 30. You're 30 this year. We got to do it.
Yeah,
We
now or never.
Now or never. And then, so came to 2023. It's been a long 10 years.
Yes. And you made it.
What a journey. Far out.
That's huge.
It's and like, in between all of the footy, there's life, eh? So like, it's just up, down.
What a massive journey you've had, hey? And a lot of full circle moments in there. I think that you literally have come back home, like being under Roo now, playing next to Ness, like girls that you were playing alongside 10 years ago is crazy.
Yeah.
So I think you're right where you're meant to be.
You're right where you're meant to be.
Meant to, yeah. I think so too,
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to see you pull on that jersey and run out. I can't believe we're only a week out from the very first game. No doubt you're going to smash it.
Yeah.
Well, we've done a bit of chatting. Should we finish off with a bit of fun?
Yes. You ready for a bit of fun? She ready?
Your fellas' faces, I'm like, what is this?
So fun.
So we're going to play a couple of songs and it's called Finish the Song.
Oh, why this game?
So we've compiled a little playlist. You only got 4, so we'll see how good you are at this game. Okay?
I'm so excited.
These are some classic shed party songs, we think.
I'm honestly cringing now because I don't know if, like,
no,
we're in the same shed or...
Yeah, we're in the same shed.
We're in the same shed.
Pause. This is Harata's shed.
Ready, steady. Here we go.
Oh, my God.
You got to sing it loud too.
Really loud. This is also my wedding song, so really well.
Oh my
sing it to me, sing it to me, sing it to me.
So we'll just give it a bit and then I'll fade it out and you got to continue, okay?
Why would I...
You don't know it?
I, no, I don't.
Oh, you'd be all over that one.
No, that's why I'm looking at you. It's like, oh my
You
gosh.
don't even know
Do you not know
one.
that song?
It's more than words.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not.
Oh,
Okay, we'll try another one. Never mind.
Next.
On to the
You have
next.
to sing that to me another time.
You should have sung it for her.
No,
we
you
go.
don't want to hear that.
5, 6.
Oh my gosh.
We're the backup singers.
Every hour of the day,
Woo!
I need your sweet inspiration. Oh, yeah.
Yes! That was what we wanted.
That was very
What
good.
a cleared out
Okay,
my
we'll give you
throat.
2 points just for getting that one right.
Yeah,
Okay,
that was
so
amazing.
2 from 2.
Oh my gosh.
Another classic. She's like, I hate you guys.
We love you.
Okay, I'll fast forward this one a little bit. Sorry, guys.
No, I'm trying to think if I know the actual right words or I just sing my
Sing
own
whatever.
words.
We just want to hear you
ready?
sing.
Do you know this bit? 5, 6, 7, 8.
You to me are everything, the sweetest song that I could sing. Oh, baby.
Oh, baby. Oh, baby.
To you, I guess I'm just a clown who picks you up each time you're down. Oh, baby.
Oh, baby.
Oh, baby.
Nailed it.
Yay!
3 from 3. Doing real good so far. Congratulations.
Oh, my
This
gosh.
is the last one.
Last one.
Final one. And then we're going to leave you alone.
I'm like not ready for singing, eh? Like, I'm going to be like watching this and going,
Biggest
oh, my
stitch up.
gosh.
You are ready. You're born ready.
You ready?
Oh, are you serious? Can you sing it, please?
I wish. Come on.
Harata.
Please, no. Oh, you to cook up. Ki ngā mahi o te motu, he ora ake nei e.
Oh, ruana te whenua.
I can't.
Just this bit. Come on.
Au e te aroha te mamai I au e.
Yay! Nailed it.
Oh
4
my
from
gosh.
4.
We're so slack.
You got 2 points for that
But you're
second
so
one.
good.
And then nailed the next 2.
Amazing.
You win.
You win.
You are the winner.
Yous
10
crack
points
me
for
up,
Harata.
man. Yous crack me up.
All jokes aside, thanks for having some fun with us there on those ones. You could have been a bad sport and just refused, which
Yeah.
is what I probably would have done. And I told her, I was like, she's going to hate me for this.
I was like, she'll be up for it.
I
No.
was like, she'll be off it. But you know what? Thank you so much.
Yes,
No.
we appreciate you.
But thank you for coming in and telling us about your story, your journey, what a journey it's been. I know I learned a lot. I didn't realize
so much.
you're an OG. You've been playing for ages.
Yeah, that was.
Could have been a rooster, could have been a Jillaroo,
But you know what? It doesn't matter.
but
you're
you
here
ended
now.
up where you're meant to be.
Exactly.
Yes,
You're a Sharky and
100%.
the rest is still to be written. But I'm so excited to be playing beside you.
And I'm
Glad you're on my team.
not excited to play against you, but I'm so excited that you are finally making your NRLW debut.
Yes.
It's been a long journey, but you should be so proud of, you know, going through such challenging times, highs and lows with your family, with your boy, doing
of
what's
sacrifice.
best for him. Yeah, a lot of sacrifice, and
He's gonna
now
be
it's
so
your
proud.
time, and he's going to be super
Yeah.
proud.
No, thank yous. Thank yous for having me. Yeah, I was like, do you really want me on here?
We did. We really wanted you.
Cool. No, yous are neat. Yous are neat.
Appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Harata.
H.